Cynthia Haas was one of the first friends I made when I moved to South Bend 13 years ago, and some of you may know her too, but you may not know that she writes the final word on ordinary people's good lives because she writes their obituaries. She did not write my mother's obituary. I don't know who did. Whoever it was in a far-off newsroom didn't know about the bracelet in Barb's jewelry box, and actually I didn't know about the bracelet either. But back in Cleveland, Barb's sisters knew that my grandfather Pete made that bracelet in the 1940s, and he gave them as gifts to his little girls. While we knew about the other treasures of Barb's good life, 60 years later, there were only 2 women alive in the world who knew that bracelet. And they gave voice to that story. Their knowledge of that long ago gift was a gift in itself, and while it's true they saved it from a casual toss into a Salvation Army donation box, the aunties may have saved my own story too. I'm here to talk about voluntary simplicity tonight. It's the name I first learned about 10 years ago for the contemplative intentional life that I already had. I remember a colleague asking me once what I was learning in some classes that I was taking, and I said, I learned that there are names for the things that I already know. And that was how I first felt about simplicity. I kind of laughed and I thought, if it's that simple, then why do you have to have a name for it? Shouldn't you just be quietly doing that? I'm a writer, among other things. I love words, not always a good thing, lots of them. But wrapping simplicity in words just always feels like trying to catch shimmery soap bubbles without breaking them. That's exactly when they vanish. So I'm going to let some of my own treasures illustrate simplicity, and yes, I have an ulterior motive. The first one is my limited edition library card. Time is money, but life is time, and how we spend our time is at the heart of simplicity. I like to learn, and I like doing that in a sustainable shared community context. These treasures, these books and films belong to everyone here. We borrow from our collection of ideas and return our voices back to each other, and that was how I first found A History of the World in 100 Objects. No surprises, it's exactly what it sounds like. It's a history of innovation through the prism of 100 pieces in the British Museum collection. And that's where I found my mom's bracelet again. No, not really. I found other stuff. But it made me wonder, what if I didn't know the bracelet story? What if my own house really is a museum? And what if there's no docent who will tell my own daughter, Karen? Because one day soon enough, Karen is going to walk into that museum and she's going to wonder, why the hell is there a toy compass on the windowsill in Mom's office? And I won't be there to tell her that I got that at a family reunion, or that it reminds me of the movie Contact, that Jodie Foster film about the intersection of faith and science and the existential quest for what's out there and how best to find it. It's the toy compass that saves her life, and there's elegance in that simplicity. It's my Occam's razor toy. It reminds me to invest in meaning before money, to leave an intentional legacy rather than a clutter of left behind, usually to hear the horses instead of the zebras, and to keep it simple. And here's my ulterior motive. I have to do this talk anyway because I have to start my own 100 Objects project for Karen. It's because I still have my great-grandmother Ida's letter, and now that I have my own granddaughter, that letter spans 6 generations. And Karen needs to know it's there to choose it or not before tossing out the old lady's old papers. Simplicity isn't just about our own choices in our own time. 9 world clocks tick a lot in my quiet house, but for all of our global fast forward, they still remind me of Ida's home. And maybe it's counterintuitive to have things serve to illustrate a lifestyle that's not about them, but we're all in service to something greater. And so if so, what is it, and who will you tell? My mom always made me visit this old Czech immigrant in the nursing home because she said he had no family. I don't think I realized at the time why that was. He made this 40-year-old portrait of Lincoln for me, and it's a cherished treasure even today, and there's no app for that. There's no app for that good life, either Mr. Schoenbrun's or my mom's or yours, and before sin writes my obit one day, not just yet, Cynthia, I hope it reflects the timeless values passed down and the simplicity that can only be truly lived. So I'm going to start my project. I wish you all many mystery bracelets of your own and the courage and transparency to wear them and share them.